God. So that barber told to that devotee who had come for getting his hair trimmed that you believe in God. There is no some nothing like God, वगैरह. It's just people's belief. It's just a blind faith. But there is nothing called as God, वगैरह. So then this devotee asked that, can you just tell me what is the reason why you don't believe in God? So then Barber said that, see, it's very simple to understand. If there is God, then why are there so much suffering in this world? Right? If there is God, then why so much suffering? That means that there should be no God. If there is a God, then people should not be treated unjustly. There should not be sufferings in the life of people. We see so many people, they die in very tragic way. So many people get cheated in life. So many suffering is there in this world. So if God is there, then why so much suffering? So then devotee didn't answer him. He just got his head hair trimmed, and then that devotee went outside, and then again came back to the barber shop. Okay, and the devotee told to barber shop that, would you like to hear some interesting fact? So barber said, yeah, yeah, tell me. So then the devotee said that, do you know, in this city there is no barber. Okay, in this city there is no barber shop. So then barber was really amazed, like what he is saying. I'm standing in front of him and he is saying that there is no barber. So that devotee said, yeah, there is no barber, no barber shop. Everything is blind faith. So then barber said, how can you say like this? So that devotee, he took that barber with his hand and he took him outside and showed to him there was a person sitting near that barber shop having big locks of hair. Okay, on his head there were a lot of hairs on his hair, on his head, and he was sitting there on the street. So the devotee said, see, the fact that there is this person sitting with big hairs, that itself means that there is no barber in the city. Okay, so now barber understood what his devotee friend wanted to make the point. So can anyone just tell me what lesson do we derive from this example? Okay, I'll only tell. If you have any further opinions, you can share on chat box. See, even though there is a barber, still there were people having big hairs. So why, if there is a barber, then why people were having big hairs? The reason is that those people didn't come to the barber. That's why they were having big hairs. So similarly, it doesn't it's not no way related that if people are suffering, that means there is no God. This is a very foolish logic. See, if people are suffering, unless they go to God, why will God help them? Right? Just like if people have big hairs, unless they go to the barber, unless they do whatever barber tells them to do, how will barber help them? Right? So similarly, this gives us the solution. This gives us the answer why there are so many sufferings in this world. The sufferings are in this world because God is ready to help us. God is ready to save us from all the miseries and sufferings. But because we are not ready to go towards God, so He also will not interfere in our life. He wants us to live in the way we want, right? Similarly, just like barber, till the time people go to him, barber will not just come out and just catch anyone and then shave his head. We need to go to the barber, and then barber will surely help us. So similarly, we need to go to God, we need to follow his laws. And if we act sinfully, if we don't act according to God's laws, and then we expect ki God, yes, you should help me, then why will he help? So does that mean that God is a cruel person, that he is authoritative, he is authority, that you come to me and then only I will help you? If God is our Father, He should be helping us, He should be saving us from all the problems, right? So, for that, we'll discuss another example. There was a father and he was sitting with his son. Okay. So, son, and there was a table fan nearby, kept nearby. So, that son was all, again and again crying that पापा पापा मेरे को ये पंखे में अपना हाथ डालना है. ठीक है, he was saying कितना बढ़िया घूम रहा है वो, मेरे को उसके अंदर अपना हाथ डाल के देखना है. So that child was again and again crying to his father and requesting. So that father said कि no no, if you put your hand in that fan your hand will get cut. But the child child was like, as obviously child was very like innocent. So he was again and again crying and requesting कि पापा मेरे को हाथ डालना है उसके अंदर, फैन के अंदर, नहीं तो मैं रोते रहूंगा. So then father what he did, he said, he thought कि अभी ये बातों से मानने वाला है नहीं. So what he did, he reduced the speed of fan and then he allowed his child to put his hand in the fan. Okay. So then the child, as soon as he put his finger into the fan, immediately cut karke the fan's blade hit his finger, and then his finger started little bit bleeding. But because the father had reduced the speed of fan, so that's why it didn't cut. It just started bleeding little bit. He just got a bruise in his finger, and then he understood that now, from now onwards, I will never ever put my hand in the fan. So that was a big lesson for him. Similarly, in our life, God has given us scriptures, God has given us all the instructions, what we should do, what we should not do, what we should definitely not do, sinful activities. But still, we don't listen, we don't want to understand the laws of God. We want to act independently, just like that small child. And we want to experience कि करके देखते हैं क्या होगा, करके देखते हैं. So then God also allows us कि ठीक है, you do it, you undergo the suffering, and through that suffering you try to learn the lesson. But if we don't act independently, if we follow, if we obey the laws of God given in the scriptures, then definitely we won't have to suffer. So that is the way we can understand our situation in this world. So with this, we will start our session, which will go ahead into the same topic. So aligning with God helps us in our material problems by providing the spiritual solutions. We just now, in last few sessions, we discussed that material solution to material problems increases the problems, right? So we need to completely end all the problems. We need spiritual solutions. So for this, we will discuss one more very important example. Suppose you are trying to build a building just near to my house, just near to where I stay. There, people are building a big flat system. So since many days I am observing that the flat is not coming up only. मतलब building बन ही नहीं रहा है, कुछ construction हो ही नहीं रहा है. Since like few weeks, 3 weeks, the flat का कुछ नामो निशान नहीं दिख रहा है. क्या दिख रहा है? जमीन के अंदर गड्ढा करते जा रहे हैं वो. They are just they just keep on digging the soil. So I was not wondering, but one small child was there with me. So he was wondering कि इनको बिल्डिंग ऊपर बनानी है, जमीन के अंदर क्यों खोद रहे हैं? I was wondering like that. So because we know, that's why I could tell him that they are building the foundation first. First, they are making the foundation, and once the foundation is strong, over that foundation they can build big skyscrapers. That is not a big deal. But main thing is the foundation. So similarly, in our life, we are doing so much, like so many things. We are achieving so many things in our life. We are achieving big degrees. engineering, medical, law. We are doing so many things. But so that is like building the skyscraper. So building the skyscraper is very important, obviously. But if our foundation is not strong, if our foundation is not clear, then no matter how big we build the building, as soon as there is slight earthquake or slight like wind or something, that whole building will collapse. So similarly in our life, unless we are clear that who am I, मैं कौन हूँ, and what is my relationship with this world, through all our science, we try to understand things which are outside us. But through this spiritual knowledge, we come to understand about things which are inside us and which I am. We try to understand about us. So, unless we are clear about ourselves, our own nature, no matter how much we do externally, even if there is like some small problem in our life, all our plans will collapse, all our determination will collapse. So that's why it is very important to learn about external things, but primary to that is understanding our own nature. And the science to understand our own nature is spiritual science. So that's why we have to balance both spiritual science as well as material science. So as I think Nelson Mandela says that in today's society we have guided missiles in the hands of unguided men. So that is the problem. We have guided missiles in the hands of unguided men. So that's why it's very important that we understand our own nature through spirituality. And that doesn't mean that we should neglect the material science. We have to, we should not neglect any of the two. We have to balance both of them. So that will bring us ultimate solution. So that brings us to the next topic, the last topic, second part of this presentation. What is the goal of life? So, like if you ask a student, what is the goal of your life? What will that student say? कि गोल वोल छोड़ो, अभी उसके बारे में कौन सोचेगा, मेरे को अभी अब मेरा असाइनमेंट सबमिट करना है, राइट? और एल्स आई हैव टू गिव माय एग्जाम, आई हैव टू क्लियर माय एग्जाम, दैट इज द गोल ऑफ माय लाइफ. बट आफ्टर पासिंग हिज स्कूल, लाइक आई रिमेंबर माय पेरेंट्स यूज्ड टू टेल मी कि बस तू अभी ये 12th पास कर ले, उसके बाद तो बस मजे ही मजे हैं लाइफ में, उसके बाद कुछ टेंशन नहीं, बस 12th पास कर ले तू अच्छे से. देन आई फेल्ट कि यस, एक बार 12th पास करूंगा फिर तो बस मजा है लाइफ में. I passed my 12th with decent scores, and then I felt कि yes, अभी no more tensions in life. But then my parents said कि now you have to clear entrance exam, JEE, AIEEE. In our times it used to be AIEEE, NEET, all those exams, BITSAT. So you just get into some nice college. एक बार कॉलेज लग गया, फिर जो करना है करना, बस कॉलेज लग जाना चाहिए. So that should be your goal of life. So then I worked very hard for getting into one college. So after preparing for IIT, at least I got VIT. There is just difference of one letter, I to V. So finally I got into VIT, and I felt कि yes, अब तो कुछ tension नहीं. So few days I was very relaxed, and then I came to know that अभी भी टेंशन खत्म नहीं हुआ है. Now there are so many assignments. Every semester we have to clear with good score, and then we have to get placed in good company. So then my parents and friends used to tell कि ठीक है अभी एक बार बस अच्छी कंपनी लग जाए, फिर बस that is the goal of life. Then I got placed in company, and in company there are regular everyday meetings कि आज ये करना है, आज का गोल ये है. So we keep on finding कि this is the goal of life, and this if I achieve, then I'll be completely satisfied. But that never happens. Once we get into college, then company, then when we start working, after that we have to get married, then we have responsibilities of home, बच्चे पैदा हो जाते हैं, then बच्चों को स्कूल में पढ़ाना, then the same whatever anxieties we had for ourselves, we start having for our children. So that way we never remain satisfied. So that is not the goal of life, surely. Now also you all are working so hard in your respective fields. So that is very good that you are working your very hard. But can you confidently say कि yes अभी मैंने ये कर लिया, that is the goal. उसके बाद और कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. No, right? Every time we have some or the other goals keep on changing in our life. But there has to be one goal in life, right? Life है तो life का goal भी रहना चाहिए ना एक. So, what is the goal of our life? That becomes very clear when we start reading the books like Bhagavad Gita. So, I'll just read this, what is there in this Bhagavad Gita. One shlok that Lord Krishna taught Arjuna, you are not this material body, you are imperishable soul. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, and he freed Arjuna from all stress and suffering. So goal of life means that thing achieving which will remain completely satisfied. So the goal of life, as per what scriptures say, as per what Bhagavad Gita says, is to realize our identity, to realize who am I, and who am I. That will become very clear in our next session, that is fourth session, the science of soul. There we will discuss scientifically with experimental evidences and proof that who are we. So are we this body? Definitely we are not this body, because after people die their body remains there only. But still we say कि ये तो चल बसा. कौन चल बसा? बॉडी यहीं पर है ना. कौन चल बसा? If we were body and body is there only, then why do people say chal basa? That means we are something else who leaves the body after the body is dead. So this is just very simple logic, but we'll discuss in more detail and more analytically in our next session. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So see, God is not just um, some ambiguous object of imagination. ऐसे नहीं कि God कोई तो है, मतलब I don't we can't understand God, or we can't achieve him. It's not at all like that. God is a very specific reality whom any one of us can achieve. So any one of us can actually, all of us are meant to have a relationship with God. So that's what Krishna says, that after attaining me, after attaining relationship with me, people don't undergo any miseries in their life, because they have attained the highest perfection. So अभी इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि चलो अभी सब कुछ अपना काम वाम छोड़ के, जो भी हमारा काम धंधा है सब कुछ छोड़ के चलो हिमालय पे जाके हम तपस्या करेंगे, भगवान का रियलाइजेशन अचीव करेंगे, राइट? So that the perfection of life? No, that is not the perfection of life. Actually, God also is not happy with us if we leave our responsibilities in life. So God doesn't want us to leave all the responsibilities of life and just go into secluded forest and do austerity tapasya. God wants us to make best use of what all resources he has given to us for a perfect purpose. So we'll discuss that using this analogy of car and human body. So just like we had discussed that earlier, also we discussed this example that many times company gives us resources like car. So similarly, this body we got. It's not that we had some meeting and we decided that I will get this kind of body, and we did something to get this body. We just got this body, right? We didn't make this body, we just got it at the time of our birth, and now we are maintaining it. So that means body has been given to us, human body has been given to us by someone. Someone may say that parents have given us the body, but did parents also like had some management meeting कि अभी ये बच्चे को इस तरह से शेप होना चाहिए, इस तरह का सिर होना चाहिए? No, they just came together, they had that sexual activity, and then semen got transferred, and after that even they didn't know what is happening in the womb, right? Even our mother, father, they also didn't know what is going on inside the belly of our mother. So that shows that God has given us this body using our father and mother. So, just like a car is given by the company, similarly, our human body has been given by God. Just like car has a driver, similarly, we are the driver of this human body. So we, the soul or Atma in Hindi if we call, so we are soul who is driving this body. Just like car, we don't become car. We remain separate from car, but we drive it. And when suppose our car gets damaged, then we leave that car. Similarly, we are not this body, we are drivers of this body, we use this body, and as soon as the body gets detrimental, then we leave this body and go to another body. We'll discuss all that in our next session. Just like car requires cleaning and putting petrol, similarly, our body also needs bathing, putting food. Just like car requires to take it to garage for repair, similarly we also need to go to doctors for disorders. But what is the purpose of car? Purpose of car is to go to company. Why to go to company? Because car has been given by the company. Similarly, this body has been given to us by God. So the purpose of this body is to serve God in this world and to return back to Him, to have a relationship with Him. So if we suppose similar, just like suppose someone may break the glass of car with a bat, will we ever suppose if we see a person who is taking a bat and he is hitting his own car and breaking the whole glass of his car? So will we consider him very intelligent? No, right? Similarly, foolish people, what they do, they commit suicide. So that is a very big sinful activity, committing suicide. Just imagine कंपनी ने आपको कार दी और आपने उस कार को बैट से फोड़ दिया, तो will the company be happy with you? No, right? Similarly, God has given us this body, and if someone commits suicide, then God is also very displeased with that person. Neither we should use that car for wandering with girlfriend across the city. Similarly, if we enjoy pleasures, forgetful of goal, if we commit sinful activities, that is also not a good use of human body. And speeding up the car at 100 kilometers per hour. Now, just now we discussed that we are not this body. So, does that mean that I will not take care of this body? No, right? We should take care of this body. Similarly, if we are just living life like rat race with no goal, then that is like too much speeding the car without taking the care of car. And decorating the car is like makeup without serving the God. So as you can see, all these things, whatever we discussed about the car, all these things, they should be done apart from this committing suicide. All these other things, they should be done by us to take care of body. But the problem happens when we forget the purpose of body and we are just completely engrossed in taking care of body only. So what is the right thing? The right thing is that we should take care of this body very nicely, but we should use it properly also. So both things are required. So this is one very interesting story of a person who was very nicely decorating the cage, but he was not taking care of the bird inside. But is the cage more important, or the bird is more important? Which one is more important, cage or bird? Which one is more important, cage or bird? Bird. Correct. Sujay is saying very correctly. Omkar also. Someone told me that both are important. Cage is also important, bird is also important. But more than the cage, bird is important. So if we keep on just decorating the cage and we neglect the bird, then bird will die. Similarly, if we just keep on taking care of the body only, which is just like the covering, we don't take care of the soul, who we actually are. Then, if we don't feed the soul, if we just keep on feeding the body only, then definitely we will not be happy in our life, right? So that is why we can see that even after in countries, we can see that there in many countries they are so rich and so opulent. They have all facilities. There is no hungry person there. Everyone is rich. But still, we see that so many crimes and all the big problems people have there only because they neglect the soul. They just provide all facilities to the body only. So then there comes the story of a Mahamurkha. We will not discuss into that because we have limited time. We'll go ahead. So अभी आप लोग सोच रहे होंगे कि ये ठीक है, ये सब हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, but if this is important, then why we are not taught in our schools and universities? So for this, we'll see one very interesting video. And see, friends, today we will end this topic and from next week we'll start with a new topic. So my humble request to all of you is that even after the meeting ends, 40 minutes meeting ends, so please rejoin the meeting for just 10 minutes. We don't have much of the part remaining. We have only 5-10 minutes of the part remaining ahead. So we'll just complete this topic. So please join again after the meeting ends. So, and very interesting videos will be seeing, and this is very important part. So I'll quickly show you the video. It's very interesting video and we'll discuss on that video. Ahead. If you find any difficulty with audio or video, na, so you can write in the chat box.
Early Indologists wished to control and convert the followers of Vedic culture. Therefore, they widely propagated that the Vedas were simply mythology. Max Mueller, perhaps the most well-known early Sanskritist and Indologist, although later in life he glorified the Vedas, initially wrote that the Vedas were worse than savage, and India must be conquered again by education. Its religion is doomed. Thomas Macaulay, who introduced English education into India, wanted to make the residents into a race that was Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. However, the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer stated that the Sanskrit understanding of these Indologists was like that of young schoolboys. These early Indologists devised the Aryan invasion theory, denying India's Vedic past. They taught that the English educational system is superior. They intentionally misinterpreted Sanskrit texts to make the Vedas look primitive, and they systematically tried to make Indians ashamed of their own culture. Thus, the actions of these Indologists seems to indicate that they were motivated by a racial bias.
Yeah. So audio and video was clear to all of you. Audio was also very important. Okay, good. So see what happened now. India has faced a very big tragedy in its history. India, see, what happened? These many people from Europe, they wanted to subjugate our country and wanted to exploit all the resources which we had with us. So they tried conquering the country a lot many times, but they found out that the country India is very strong. Actually like it was not mentioned in this video, but there were few people from America, Europe, which who had come earlier. One of them, very famous personality, has said that two things. First is that he traveled across India. Throughout the India he traveled, and he could not find even one beggar in India. Just imagine, he could not find even one beggar in India. He traveled throughout the India. So India was very strong, and the strength of India was in its culture. So these people, they understood that we can't conquer India because the Varnashram system, that there has to be a king, and the king has to be guided by Brahmanas. The whole system, na, that Kshatriya, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that whole system was so perfect in India that nobody could break it and nobody could attack India. So they discussed that by military power we cannot attack India, we cannot conquer India. But there is only one way we can conquer India. So they understood what is the backbone of India. The backbone of India, they understood, is their faith in their scriptures. That is the backbone of India. Because people used to have so much faith in the Brahmanas, and the Brahmanas were also like Chanakya Pandit and such like intelligent people. Brahmanas means it's not just कि आप एक धागा पहन लो that will make you Brahmana. That is not Brahmana. Scriptures have very definite characteristics of a Brahmana. We'll discuss that sometime if we'll get some time. Then we'll discuss that. But Brahmanas, they used to live very pure life, and they used to be very intelligent, and nobody from outside could conquer India that time. So what they did was they plotted that we have to break the backbone of India. And what is the backbone of India? The backbone of India was its faith, the faith of people on Brahmanas, and faith of people on scriptures, their culture. That was the backbone. So they didn't send military people initially. They sent Indologists. Anyone knows what is Indologist? Who are called as Indologist? Anyone has heard what is the meaning of Indologist? Okay. So Indologist means, you can search on net also. Indologist means it is a group of people who were sent to India to learn Sanskrit and to understand our scriptures. So what these Indologists they came to India and they studied under Brahmanas, and they learned Sanskrit, and then they started reading the Sanskrit, and they started reading the scriptures, and they found so many concepts that were completely bewildering to them. They could not understand all these concepts. So what they did, they started ridiculing the scriptures. They started saying कि अरे ऐसा कुछ भी ऐसे थोड़े होता है, ये सब तो अंधविश्वास है. So they coined this word called as mythology. Mythology जो word है वो भी संस्कृत से आया है. In Sanskrit there is a word called mithya. Mithya means false. So from mithya they have found out a word called mythology. And they started saying that all our Indian scriptures, all of them are mythology. They are just false, and they have no relevance to the uh, reality. And they started propagating, and then a lot of massacres they did. They killed many people. They burnt many of our educational societies. Like you might have heard about Nalanda and Takshashila. Not Nalanda, some universities they burned completely, and some were such like, I think it's about Nalanda only, or some scripture, I don't remember, some Just like nowadays we have universities, na? So at that time also we used to have universities about Vedic knowledge. So it is recorded that there was one university which kept on burning for weeks and weeks together. उसके अंदर इतना सारा knowledge था, इतनी सारी books थी that हाँ, correct. Someone is saying, yeah, physics of theory of physics are also taken from Vedas. Correct, very correct. We'll discuss all that also. So there were some universities which were burning for weeks together, and so many books of our knowledge they burnt completely, so that they could finish all the knowledge we had. And then they started introducing their own knowledge that no, this Western civilization is superior. You are all inferiors. You should study in our universities, and that's how they systematically broke the backbone of India. And through that, when the Indians' faith in India got destroyed, then Indians started feeling that we are inferior, and these are lords, these are superiors, and that way they conquered India. And that system, it is said that, okay, we'll continue this very interesting discussion going on. Please rejoin the meeting. We'll rejoin again.